Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Race Like a Champ Stage 2. We're out on Richmond Rollercoaster, not a race course. We do a whole lot. We're going to jump right down into it. I'm Nathan Guerra Dave Towle, your host for today. The A's have got it on course, Dave, and they're about to do 23rd backwards. So I want to get right down into it. We've got some big hitters showing up today, and I'm really excited about it, actually. Dave, Tepolorio's here, Holden Camus here, McCarthy is here, Stolzmo. I mean, Dave, all of the huge hitters. This is like full gas today. That's for sure.
Yeah, you can feel Zwift Games must be just around the corner as everybody's sharpening their sword. We've already gotten attack. So here we go. It's only 17K, Nathan. So we're going to get right into the meat and potatoes of this race. Like a champ, well, that'll be confirmed if you can win out of this group. And here's our man, Tepolorio, one of the legends of Zwift.
Yeah, L'Oreal here, giving a little bit of a go. 9 watts per kilogram, 11% gradient, Dave. It's the other side of that 23rd, and this is one of the toughest climbs. Just a punch in the face for sure. And look at how these riders are taking it on. This is 23rd Street Reverse, 3.7, 1.1. Interesting. Now, is that right? That only 3.5%? No, that can't be right on that leaderboard. Is that true? Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, It's interesting. These climbs, well, so let's get right now when you take a look at this. How about the Condor out of Chile making it up? That's Carlos Flores. They're the world elite Zwifter. So it's no surprise, is it, Nathan, when you look at the rhythm of this race? Because guess what? We're going to be doing it one more time when you talk about the 3 hits that you've got that come at the beginning of this 17 kilometers. So, pretty good size split occurring there right in, I would say, the 25th spot. Let's see if that gets welded back together.
Yeah, now big kick here. It's going to be really important on this little bit of a punch back on the backside of Libby Hill. I see a Peel Auto on the front. Is that right? D Stampy. UCI Pro jersey on this rider. Oxen coming up over the top as well now. Dragons are still involved. Mossop is here, as you can see. ESRT Kirchfield from the Dragons now up over the top. But Teppo L'Oreal, I absolutely love what I'm seeing from Teppo today. He is on the aggression train, knowing this is exactly how you need to take this on up front. But the thing is, Dave, if you put too much sting up front, you really pay for it in the back. And I did this last night, did the exact same thing. It was a small field, only like 6 riders, so I was able to get away. But man, do you suffer trying to hold threshold on the top ends of Richmond when you get out of these climbs.
And especially, Nathan, we saw it quite a bit yesterday in the Canadian National Championships, where the price that you pay for an early attack is massive. And with the quality of riders that you've got that'll be chasing you out here. So we're going to be heading down Libby Hill now. It's so rare that you see it from this perspective. Can you imagine descending down? These are in real life rough cobbles. I mean, it's well taken care of here, but this corner right here would be nasty. No doubt about it. Torben Oxen, here, one of the strongest finishers week in, week out we've seen over the last few months. That's absolutely a danger man as he goes with Tepolorio, who unlocked legend status a long time ago. You can see the attentive group right behind them. Looks like the RT from Kaboom is back. If he's in the group that finishes today, Nathan, watch out. Charles McCarthy riding in that yellow jersey there. You can see McCarthy covering everything up near the front here, as he's been a real pleasure to have being a part of these events. Brings a real dynamic to the events without the rest of that Velocio team around him. And here's another rider to watch. You found a strong finisher here in Mossop, Nathan, the ESRT rider, moving up to the front right now, racing out of the United Kingdom.
Yeah, Mossop here now using that speed to the front goes to show. Look at how empty the tanks are. That's exactly what happened to me, Dave. Like, we got to this point, and I was like right on the end of the battery there. Like, oh my gosh, this is so intense. As you can see, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot left because, Dave, for this kind of a field to get shattered that quickly, how many do we got left here that's even made it into this lead group? 30 seconds gap already, Dave? 3 seconds back. Podzaline has fallen off trying to chase 6 watts per kilogram from Michael Podzaline. B. Martin's here. Now, Dave, this is huge because look here, Dave, I just got to show you something real quickly about this specific rider because he is your current leader on the series at 52-19. Brandon Martin from USMES, but he is off the back right now. Jumping across, though. He's jumping across. He needs to do that. 52-19. He's already got one win, but this is going to get smashed, I think, 52-19 with the kind of hitters we got right now.
Yeah, Race Like a Champ is effectively a GC. There's a classification to this as well. So taking a look now at Brandon Martin, we're going to be moving around a bit. This is the front group, and it is Tepalorio attacking again. Is this man, the Finnish rider, just is an absolute monster, no doubt about it. Let's see, though, who's going to lead up the chase. Kaboom is in it, and Kirkfield, who is, believe, our winner last week. I wanted to get back, though, Nathan. I was talking about how this is basically a month-long stage race when you talk like Race Like a Champ, and this group today that we've got on screen right now, I can't imagine there's a faster group out here, even though you'd have chances to come back and do this again later in the week. There's no way in my mind I can imagine a group going any quicker than this group is. Here's a guy who's been up there week in, week out, Jean Roche. He's very, very talented rider.
Yeah, Arnaud here, and I like this guy's style. Check out this profile picture. Is that like a... What is this? What is this little guy from? Is that like a gremlin or, huh? I wonder.
I'm rarely stumped by these, Nathan.
Yeah, me
right?
neither. I don't know what that is.
Well, it feels very European. Remember the cake that existed that like was a caterpillar cake or something in United Kingdom? I think it's something similar that just never quite made it to the U.S. Whatever that owl or bird or dinosaur was. So back to the action, though, as we take a look. Now, we are familiar with Dragons, and this is the team that comes in as, if you take a look at ZwiftPower, Nathan, I mean, Kiko is here today. Jan Eifert, Kiko Arial, I should say. Benny Axt as well. A lot of these Dragons are German-based Dragons, and the most dangerous of all is Kirkfield.
German Dragons. Oh man, watch out!
Right. If dragons aren't scary enough, these are German ones.
They're very organized dragons,
Yikes.
though. They know how to. They know exactly what to do with fire and when. Holden has made this. What now? If they can, if they bring Holden Camille over the top. I mean, he's been working on this sprint so well lately, and if he does, how is he with them? This is going to be crazy if he can make it over the side. It's only a 3-minute climb or so right here, Dave. Like, he can pull this off probably. If they don't split him off the back, how are they going to win against Holden Camille?
Now. Right, exactly. They're not attacking him now. He's the rider in pink and white on the pink Tron right in the middle of your screen, who I would say is the Zeus of sprinting in esports, historically, and he's still at the top of his game. And I think that he might be a better rounded rider than a little bit of sag climbing right now as he's using that group.
Yeah, I mean, look at how fast that bar's coming down, though, Dave. 648. I mean, he's not quite in trouble, but I mean, everybody's pretty hurting right now, but they continue to press this pace.
He feels all right.
Look at that. He had a drafting power up. That's really good for him right now, actually.
Actually, what he did was amazing Zwiftcraft. He moved all the way to the back of that group, taking advantage of the sag climbing element. It was 3%, 4%. Now it's 6% on this climb. This is governors that were going up. But Nathan, what he did was then use the drafting power up to reposition himself in that group. This guy's as good as gold when you talk about Holden Camille, a U.S. national champion and an OG Zwifter. He goes back to early days with you, Nathan, for sure. RT, this is Kaboom. The Australian rider.
New Zealand.
I don't see any red. New Zealand. All right. I was looking for the red stars. So New Zealand. I apologize. There is a difference. No question. Can't just group everybody down.
This guy is riding with a new sense of fervor today. Somebody lit the fire under Tepe here, because this is not. He is the most aggressive rider today by far, hands down. There is no question.
And that's not abnormal for him to be the most aggressive rider. My question is, Nathan, so he went on, I mean, this is the guy who earned the Tron bike using the free trial in a week he earned the Tron bike. There's folks who it's taken, I'm talking to you, Simon, who it's taken a couple of years to get that Tron bike, right? Now, there's other folks, that have legendary things that they've done on Zwift, but Teppo, as far as our world, racing world, esports world, what he did to get to level 100, Nathan, was mind-blowing. But maybe he backed off the insane daily mileage or kilometers and has moved into sharpening himself up for Zwift Games, is my thought.
Milor now looking to go across, Dave. Yeah, and he's not dragging the pack. He jumped hard. Now the rest of the pack's most likely going to try and come with him here. But, now we got 3 out the front. And, Dave, I think everybody behind is really in the hurt locker. This is a good moment, but they got to work together. They could make this happen. They're sitting up back there. Three's enough, Dave. It really is. Oh, my gosh, this could happen.
Boy, yeah, I'm not sold yet because I'm looking at the amount of horsepower back in that group. Riders like Holden Camo that are here to sprint. You're going to have to really cut against the grain with a hacksaw to be able to get away from this group. I mean, it's virtually flat from here on in. All of the terrain, the punchy terrain came at you in the first half of this race. It's actually cruelly started with about a kilometer, but downhill. Then you get into the triple Lindy of climbs. But these 3, if
5 seconds
could do it, it would be
5 seconds, Dave. And B. Martin is here. Now, big kick, and you knew it was going to come over the top of this little 3% gradient. Now, Holden following very closely. He knew exactly where to be. Look at where Holden was, right on the wheel, second wheel, not taking the wind and knowing how to go across. Kirchfield, RT Kaboom. Now, is it going to split again? Is going to be the question, or is it going to drag the whole pack? Kaboom now, 10.6 big watts.
Well, and this is interesting now. What are you going to do if you're Holden Camo there in the white and pink? We're going to focus on Holden here as a master class. I know that we can't look into a crystal ball and see the finish, but I'm just going to watch from that perspective here, as this is a lot of fun, as this is Race Like a Champ. We're into it now. This roller coaster in Richmond in full effect, and we are seeing just attacks going left, right, and center. As certainly we've talked about Teppo, Torben Oxen getting up there. Kirkfield, Stolsmo was a rider. I don't know that we've mentioned yet, the Norwegian. He's another one of the danger men.
Stolsmo
yes,
is here.
Spain,
and he hasn't been in the front
out.
once, actually. Now, Dave, these are the moments, though. Stampy, 6.7 with an arrow, full committal, 9 watts per kilogram here coming from this is massive from the Danish rider right here. Sagan, we haven't seen him on the front at all. Coming over the top, UCI jersey right alongside a PO Auto kit in game. Or is that, I mean, it don't get much more dangerous than that old school OG Zwifting.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Nathan. PO Auto is one of those teams that sends shivers down the spines of esports riders over the last few years. And, Denmark, I think pound for pound, ounce for ounce, might be the top esports nation on the planet right now. As let's see here what we've got. It's out to 5 seconds with it's 6K to go. So I don't think that they're going to be completely panicking, but they have to take this seriously, and they are. As the Frenchman, Jeffrey Malou, moving up to the front. He's got Finnish rider Teppo Lorio there. Brandon Martin, Nathan, he's got to be loving the situation. He chose the right group to be in with today. Our GC leader here riding up near the front. There are no bonus seconds anywhere to be garnered, so it's just on your raw finish time out here today. Just want to make sure you're in that front group. You don't have to win the race to get the best GC time possible. Daniel Stamp is turning the screws, but they are fighting back now as they're starting to. It's almost like game fishing, Nathan. They've got him on the line and they're reeling him back. It was at 5. It's coming down to 4, and I think that might be the writing on the wall for Stamp through this sector here, as a few fresh horses moving up to the front now.
It's good stuff here. I absolutely love the way that this... Now, the pack here is going to get a lot of speed from all those arrows and only have to put out about 4.6, 4.7 you can see on the front. Stampy here continues, though, at 5.5. He's outdoing the pack when it comes to pure watts per kilogram, but the pack here is getting some good roll-through speed from these arrow power-ups. Now, will there be continuance? It looks like it's 6 watts per kilogram. There is an interest from Well here from Team NL, as well as it looks like Zanrock from some bike. It looks like 26.3 now from the Frenchman for that ESRT kit. You can see him rocking in game. Still 4 seconds, but big watts here now coming at 478 from the ESRT rider.
Well, and there's the locomotive at Tepalorio moving back up to the front. So as they slam this U-turn here, again, the Danish rider Stamp has been impressive, but the amount of work he's having to do to hold off this group, you can only hold off the tide so
quickly,
long.
Dave,
and I feel like
this is good. This is good. Check this out. It kind of fits the ESRT vibe. Cedric does. Is he hanging out at a rave?
He's raving. The rave.
Yeah,
I was going to say, where's that old rave music he used to have for the team time trials?
I have it somewhere here. I could probably bring it up.
Set a vibe. Set a vibe.
8 watts per kilogram coming from Jean-Roch now. He's looking to really push. Oh my gosh.
So this is unfortunately what happens as you dangle out there long enough, and eventually they're going to reel you in with this quality of group, Nathan. This has nothing to do with the attacker. It's the quality of the chase.
It really is. And now back, he saw the writing on the wall, backed it off there to 3.8 watts per kilogram. He's probably going to bump it up again here and be in it for the sprint. Jean-Roch just continues, though, at 6 watts per kilogram. Brightens it back together. You know, here's the thing, Dave. I really do think that these teams are starting to show up to try and get the GC overall. We're starting to see this situation where you've got WLC with multiple riders. We've got Hexagon with a couple of riders in here as well. ESRT, I think, really aim for this. The Dragons do as well. And it's not a coincidence that Mossop is sitting in and Jean-Roch's on the front there, pushing the pace.
And look at Holden.
ZRacing's just at a whole new level when it comes to the team tactics. Holden is right where he needs to be, probably just like coasting at times.
I mean, he's probably sending a work email right now, knowing Holden.
Now look, Jean Worm is here. Christensen is here. ESRT have showed up with at least 4 in this front group. That's a big deal.
Yeah, and P.O. Otto's got a couple of guys here as well. So this is a legit finishing field. John Verm.
Look at that energy bar.
He's a top 5 Zwift Grand Prix rider through the history, the duration of those events, going all the way back to 2020. Really. So, and John Verm goes back further than that. You would know better than I, Nathan, but he's another one of the, like Holden Camo. He's not only one of the best now, but he's really been one of the best for the last half decade.
This is a good matchup, I think, here, Dave. Watch out for this. 15-9, 16-9. If Jean sets it up right, I mean, it's a full watt per kilogram more and probably some bigger just raw watts, but, I get the feeling. I mean, he's got a better 5 minute, and that's where you give a little bit, right? But this is the matchup. I think if it does come to the line, there might be a couple others to watch out for here. But it's hard to go past those that kind of sprint power.
I mean, Holden might win just because he doesn't have sleeves. To tell you the truth, that might be the difference. What will happen there? Someone took the corner a little hot. They were able to get that figured out. Yeah, it was a little bit of a cyclocross. Once in a while, in Richmond, they put up the barriers and they got to jump off their bikes and do something. On your toes. Yeah. So. Okay, Torben. Here we go. The Torben rocket ship. 3, 2, 1, ignite. Nathan, this is the finale. We're down to 2K to go. Torben Oxen, if there was one guy you cannot play around with, it's going to be Torben. So it's just been Danish riders attacking left, right, and center. And here we go again. This is going to be into the penultimate kilometer now.
Liking what I'm seeing here now. Martin to the front. As you can see, USMNES now 2 seconds back, but now it's only 4 watts per kilogram toward the front. Torben Oxen, if he fully commits here, could be a danger man. They'll start ramping it up, but now 7 watts per kilogram coming from the Foodsray rider looking to go across. ESRT again shutting things down, as you can see here with Jean-Roch now up into 8 watts per kilogram, 173 beats per minute as ESRT again is shutting this down.
This is where the Jedi mind tricks coming from Holden Camo are perfect because he can use other teams to do his work for him and keep this together. He doesn't have to go back and chase these danger men, as that takes a lot of effort. As you can see from ESRT, Jean-Roch, this has got to be a setup for his teammates, I think, Nathan. Is that what he's doing, is trying to get a sprint out here?
I think he wants to go across. I mean, that was all in, though, 1,300 watts. And,
a little early is the problem, and he knows that.
Yeah,
he has to know that. So, I mean, I think he's setting the hook for his teammate. Is it Mossop or no Verm for ESRT would benefit from this?
Perhaps trying to drive it for him.
and it certainly keeps the pace high, so everybody benefits. I mean, Jean Roque is such a talented rider. It's
Tempo Lorio says Leroy Jenkins goes all in. If you don't know, Dave, it's a World of Warcraft. It's a World of Warcraft thing where like this guy just jumps into the dragons, literally jumps into a ton of dragons and gets his whole team wiped. Milor now goes over the top here, and there's the wipe. It's definitely a Leroy because Gregory goes, Dave, he's gone.
Jeffrey Milor.
This is over.
Wow.
This isn't even a conversation, I don't think. Holden's got to go now or never. But Dave, the line is here. Like,
well, it comes up. You can see it there. Yeah, I mean, this is done and dusted, folks. Well, no surprise as the Hexagon rider Milor comes in with tremendous talent. Clearly, the form is sharp and. They close, but he gets
Holden.
it.
Nice. For second or third, but good on Gregory. The timing was really, really good from Gregory there.
Hey, that's perfect because instead of leaving that to a sprint where Holden Camo was almost unbeatable, he got out just in front of it, just enough. Let's follow along those. A lot of racing happening today. Hundreds of folks jumping in. We've got the B's, C's, and D's to look forward to. Down to 2K to go now for our B's. Little bit smaller group, Nathan. Oh, I want to make sure I'm finding the front.
Yeah, me too. that was exactly what I was doing. Yeah. Where's the front of this race? All right, jumping on in with the B category. It looks like there's like riders all over the freaking map. Yeah, it looks like a pretty big group though. A little bit different. It looks like in this B category as we jump in with Amitsbull. 2K to go.
The Danish.
Spidel is there. Another boom. Who's this? What's up with all the kabooms? There's like, is this like an actual team? Toby from Zwift Club's here as well.
That's a check boom on Kaboom. So that's good to see. Nice to see a Watch the Femmes hat.
That's a check boom. Like,
got to stay on top of it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to know your booms.
You got to know what's up. So, all right, this is the front group, the Tête de la Course. They're down to what most light. Who's going to? I don't know if they would have had a chance to see what Jeffrey Malure, the Hexagon rider, pulled off. But if you don't want to sprint with the big dogs, it seems like right in this sector is where you're going to be attacking, and there it is.
There it is. Big attack going off the front with an arrow power-up. I like how they're just all in on this last section. It makes
they know
it so
what they're
fun.
Doing.
It's so fun to see the way that they're attacking this now. Swanson, it is at 8.4 watts per kilogram. C. Swanson out of the UK.
Committed.
Toby from Zwift Club trying to come across. Looks like he's fully committed now at this point. They may be able to reset just a little bit if three come across, sit on a wheel, and then jump again real quickly if there's anything left in the tank. Toby's still 10 watts per kilogram, though, the German rider. But he's, Steve, BN.
It went early. It's still
going to get these lap riders. They're going to get lap riders in the way, too. Oh, man, Dave. Get out the way.
How can you get lapped on a one-lap race?
Right? That's funny.
So we're going to go back now and take a look at the final 100 meters. This is it.
Kaboom, trying to make it happen here, and he's going to get disqualified. Like, that's 100% sticky wattage there. No. Check Kabooms cannot use sticky watts. Sorry.
That check bounced.
Yep, that definitely bounced there. ZRacing doesn't actually have disqualifications, but we're just calling that, hey, that's like across all esports, you can't do sticky watts.
We officially frown on sticky watts.
Yeah, we officially frown on sticky watts. So there's no going to big watts, zero, big watts, zero. It's just, we just can't it's just a known at this point. But maybe he doesn't know. Like, I 100% understand if somebody just does not know.
Yes. I mean, we've had personal experience in the last couple of months where definitely just the word needs to be spread about, hey, if you think you found a cheat, you
probably did. You probably found one. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's funny. I was watching some of the podcast, and I heard Anna talking about, sort of similar, the team time trial technique that we were discussing last week about the becoming more aerodynamic in the gameplay by making power surges. And again, anytime you think you can find free speed, double check the receipts.
There is
right?
no free speed. Exactly.
There's
There
no
is
free
no free
speed,
speed. It
folks.
doesn't exist,
Yeah.
just so you know.
There's no free lunch. There's no free speed. If you think that it seems too easy, well, especially with the sticky watts, right? I mean, it's like, yeah, it works, but it's not fair.
Exactly. Yeah, that one, I mean, if you're just getting that one is can be a little bit obvious. Now, some people though, I do think as these riders are coming in for the C category, we'll hype this up in just a second here, but I do think that some riders think it's a lag between, like, they just don't know, and they think it's a lag between what they're putting out and what the game's registering, because when you start pedaling, sometimes it takes a second to register. That actually,
I get it.
That actually doesn't mean on the back end, it just takes a while for it to go, oh no, there's nothing here. In the same way on the front end, it takes a little bit to get something going, but when you're doing 900 watts on the back end, well, that's kind of a little bit too, that's a lot. So, all right, here we go. But coming on in, it's going to be Oakenshield. Right. He said he's leading things out, and he is in the Lord of the Rings team, it looks like. I absolutely love that. That's actually the team name. Oakenshield. And his name's Oakenshield. Okay, Torben Oakenshield. So it's actually a play on Was
he a hobbit or
a dwarf? A dwarf here. Kroll now, okay. ATP. Big kick now with that arrow power up. We'll get the rest of the field, but Kroll's going to take this big 10 watts per kilogram. Nice job to him. Bates from Velo is going to be taking second, it looks like, to the line. Don't give up there.
Showing off with that with the arrow power up there.
Now it's going to be the main group.
Crushing it.
Here we go.
All right.
Ramp up.
Group finish.
There's another kaboom going. Where are all these kabooms coming from? Arctic Zwifter. This guy is actually, I think, in the Arctic and Zwifting, just so you know. I'm pretty sure that's why. No, like for real. I think he is at some station. He's at some station. I've seen it about him here. Arctic Zwifter. Jay Bont is there as well. Oh, is Bont going to get him? Is Bont going to get him? Right to the line. Oh my gosh, I don't know. We'll have to double check. That back end API, don't lie. All right. Well, we'll get into that in just a moment. D category, everybody.
All right. Here we go. So the D's.
David sometimes is like Nathan. It's just out of control. Sometimes Dave, I think, is just like.
I said back end API, don't lie myself, and then you said it. So kind of took the wind right out of my sails there. But I always love the fact that we have this bizarre where we will use the images in front of us and analyze that. And then almost every time I'll say, but it doesn't matter because we have to go look at the back end API anyway.
Yeah. What's going on in this D category? What is happening here? This is 2K to go.
They're setting up for a sprint. That's what's happening.
Yeah. And you know what's cool is it's quieter. Chill. Cool, but like I kind of like what's going on here with this D category, because in the past we have seen a little bit of complaints coming from the community saying, man, the D's ruined, somebody's smashing it on the front or something, or there's been some bots, and I think they're getting a better look at just a straight race out here today, which I really like to see for them. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, this is what they want. Absolutely. Is what are the watts per kilo? I mean, it's hard, sitting around a little over 2. If you're sitting in, you can get it down in the mid ones. This is exactly what a D race should be. You don't need some robot making 2.8 watts per kilo, putting everybody into the hurt zone.
Well,
Frank Eggert is...
Eggert,
he's using caffeinated shampoo. Frank is. That's what Alpecin makes. So looking for every advantage.
Oh man, what if he's actually involved with Alpecin somehow? What if there's like some way, that he could be? I mean, I don't know. Is it German related at all? I don't know where Alpecin. It is. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised.
Another nation. Do you know what I have to say? Caffeinated shampoo sounds very American, doesn't it? Like that sounds like something that we would come up
Brazilian
with.
Brazilian to me. That sounds Brazilian to me. Yeah.
You live with a Brazilian.
I live with a Brazilian, and it's just coffee is life. I mean, seriously, you go to any Brazilian household, they have a coffee pot with like massive sugar in the coffee. Like every house you go to, and like and a little bit of milk all day. No joke. You walk into any house, you can get a cup of coffee or any place like that's like a public cup of coffee, a little bit of milk and sugar, and it tastes like candy. And they probably give you candy too.
Wonder how the Diabetes Foundation is doing.
Yeah, it's a different culture, Dave. It's a different culture. It's definitely different. Here we go. A little bit of a ramp up here. It's going to be Higgin in for Hispania. The Spanish rider, 452. Big kick, but it's going to be Sloan. Gordon Sloan, watch out. If he's in the race and you got to sprint with the Rhino, he can charge.
Yeah. Woo! Oh, boy. Wow. All right. Well, you just witnessed it again. A Rhino going berserk out here. And this is a high-level Rhino, the Scottish Sloan, Nathan.
Sliver tried. Sliver tried. He usually gets it, too. But the timing, this one seems tough to time. This one seems tough that the big sprinters are having a tough time, like kind of wrangling it in.
Yeah, getting a gauge on it, right?
Yeah, it's interesting that.
Well, we talked before the broadcast about we haven't really raced on this course much. It's very interesting to have such a hard first half of as far as the parcours goes, and then shifting into, if you can survive through the first half, you move into a sprint type finale that we get in esports. So super, super fun. I hope we race back here more.
Well, so one of the things, race like a champ it's no joke. This is I raced this last night, and I was thinking about how big of a difference between this and Flat is Fast. I mean, it is a completely different universe. And I was wondering if we were going to get the numbers. I'm glad we see the numbers, because I was wondering if we're going to get people kind of chilling out on it.
Did you remember what your group's time was yesterday?
It was me. There was no group. I was like, just suffering. I'm thinking kind of thinking about the GC time in the back of my head, but there was no way I was going to challenge no way at all. I'm going to actually go take a look and search my name on it real quick to see how far down the, 20, it's not actually updated yet from last night. So I'm not sure. It's not actually updated. From last night. Yeah.
We'll have to see later. But we always promise the top 30 for all categories out here. It's one of the things we really enjoy. It's a great way to get to know some of the up-and-coming Zwifters as well in the different categories as we follow along throughout what's been a fantastic season here. Noticing Zwift Games coming up in a couple of weeks, starting to feel that energy building in more and more fields. Racing seems to be leveling up as we get another look at the finale for our Amen right now. That's the attack from Malure as he goes up and over the top of Teppo. And that was all she wrote, actually.
Getting a message from Charles McCarthy right now saying, I had a plan to attack on 23rd. That kind of went out the window. He was saying the plan was to do this. The race was just too hard. Wow, was that crazy? See, and I think if you want a good workout, this is it.
Well, and it's 100% that line from Mike Tyson about everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. Right.
Yeah. McCarthy's actually let me know as well that these are only getting harder. So I think, excuse me, I think the reality is that they are getting harder because people like Teppo, Lorio, and these other teams are trying to push the pace for the
having some
overall
fun with it
for the overall. Yeah, I know that they're showing up for that. Holden might have gotten Kirchfield there. That's a nice little sprint. And Brandon from USMES might have been a little ways back. So I have a feeling maybe
that's going to be same time though. If you're in that group, there's no second splits back through there. A second is going to be quite a bit of distance, I would say.
Well, look at that, Dave. I don't know. I think it's pretty
from Malure, right?
Oh, yeah, good call. Good call from Malure. You're right, Dave. Yep, 100%.
So let's run through these, though. Thanks, Nathan. Jeffrey Malure with the devastating late race attack to take the win, getting out in front of what was going to be a danger man in Holden Camo. Holden backs that up but takes silver today with Kirkfield coming through in third. Purito Fleca. Fleca means arrow in Spanish, and Purito definitely living up to that because he's always been up in our top 10. Marcus Duval for 5th today, Kiko Arial for 6th, Daniel Stump in 7th, it's RN in 8th, Pep Tachi in 9th, and then Martin Lind rounds out our top 10 for the A's out here on the roller coaster in Richmond. Taking a look in 11th, it's Luke Helton. It's Berrios for 12th, Charles McCarthy. Thanks for your comments, Charles. In 13th, Morton Christensen in 14th, Carlos Flores in 15th. It's Torre Medgard in 16th, Brandon Martin. He was our GC leader coming in. He'll hold on to 17th there. It's RT Kaboom in 18th, Bruno Morial in 19th, and then Tepa Lorio. Always animating things out there. Tepa finds 20th. We'll go all the way through our top 30 today with Oystein Mokgard in 21st, John Verm in 22nd, Andy Litwinick in 23rd, Arnaud Jean Roche in 24th, O Christian in 25th, 26th today was Tomas Barney. Scott Mossop up there in 27th, Rodrigue Bonnevie for 28th, Arnaud 29th, and then Cedric Jean Roche.
Cedric threw down that 13 watt per kilogram kick trying to get away. He did his own Leroy earlier too. Oh man. And then it goes to show. Yeah, where did Teppo end up actually? 20th. Yeah, place. I mean if you try and jump into the whelps. ESRT, so much work. It doesn't look like it worked out too well for him though. Too bad to see that. A lot of work.
Now they can take notes and learn from today as well, though. That's one of the great things about racing on Mondays.
I'm taking notes. Okay, here we go. This is a big attack here. Swanson on the B category tried to do his own Leroy Jenkins, but Toby, the Zwift Club, the Arctic Zwifter was somewhere in there. Arctic Zwifter might have been C category, I think, unless he comes flying out of the pack somewhere here. But Toby, Zwift Club now fading as up and over the top. C Kaboom is coming from. Womack is back there from BL13, but I think it was just a little bit too late as it's going to be Steve now holding on to the line. Big kick, it looks like. Kaboom trying to come through, but Kaboom had the sticky watts and he said, well, from the broadcast perspective, sticky watts are just not okay. Grant Womack will probably take second there, and from the broadcast perspective, I think this is going to be Steve for the win out there today. Unless perhaps, I think that's pretty obviously sticky watts, I think, from what I'm seeing there. But let's go ahead and take a look at the results, though, as they do come through. And we've got in the B category. And look, Dave, it's going to be, his name is Sir Dina Kaboom, 12 watt per kilogram, followed by editor Steve. Well, he can maybe edit the results for us.
I think he probably will. With Ben in 3rd, Ben N. It's Douglas Cameron in 4th, Grant Womack 5th, Joseph 6th, Nicholas Alkvist 7th today in our Bs, Mickey Vincent in 8th, Martin Oscarsson 9th, Helmut Ortner. That's your top 10 for the Bees in Richmond on the roller coaster. In 11th place today, we'll get a look at Carl Olsen, Yasin Sisi for 12th, Niklas Brammeyer for 13th, Nick in 14th, Martin Rensvart in the 15th, Philip for 16th, Alexander Amitsvul for 17th, Jason Jacoby for 18th, Chris Taylor 19th, Toby, Zwift Clubs, Toby 20th. Let's take a look at 21st through 30th now with Marcus in 21st, Andrew Todd for 22nd, Ryan Frey 23rd today. It's going to be Ben Wagner for 24th, Michael Thorne for 25th, Christian in 26th, Callan Swanson 27th, Fab in 28th, Lasse Olsson for 29th, and then Stig Tony Johansson rounds out your top 30 for the C's today. Good job, guys.
Well, was that the C's or the B's? I think that was the B category.
That was the B's.
Yeah, B category. Yep. C category, Arctic Zwifter with the big kick, trying to hold off the pack. I think he was able
Monroe,
to do it. Bont. Oh, this was right to the line. This was the one that was right to the line between Bont and the Arctic Zwifter. Oh man, I think Arctic Zwifter might have done it there. I think he did. I need more information on that rider. I think in the past I have heard that he's actually coming. Now it's giving me an interesting. I don't know. Go ahead, Dave.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm just Googling it, but is it Port Monroe that the scientific? It is not actually. So
We actually had a little bit
I
earlier,
was
though. That was the sprint from the pack. Andy Kroll able to take down the win overall. Torben Oakenshield and Alan Bates were the second and third riders. James Bond did get the better of him, though, as you can see in that sprint, as Arcade Zwifter held on for fifth place on the day.
Let's run through them all here right from the top. Andy Kroll taking the win. Alan Bates second. Thorin. Is Thorin the name of the Lord of the Rings character as well? Thorin Oakenshield?
Yeah.
Sounds
I
like
believe,
it. Sounds
unless,
appropriate.
Thorin might have been, maybe named. That could be the name.
It's hard to say.
Yeah,
All right, James Bond in fourth. Arctic Zwifter, another Kaboom rider there in fifth. Alex for sixth. George in the bike for seventh. Michael Nilsson for eighth. This is our C's, with ninth place today going to Mark Slavonia. And then Sivert Fandrum in 10th. After 17.2 kilometers, it was Dan Taprick in 11th, Ted Baker for 12th, Sander Jensen for 13th, David Bishop for 14th, Juan Iradier in 15th, Mark Kolkloff in 16th. That was Thomas Janssen in 17th, Billy Wilson for 18th, Roland Rabian in 19th, and then Ethicon for 20th today in our C field. We'll run through all the way to 30th with Chris Fitz in 21st, Robert Hagen 22nd, Matilda Olsen for 23rd, Sasso 24th, Lucas Bergqvist in 25th today, Air in 26th, Paul Biggs found 27th, Alex Martins in 28th, Cyclopath in 29th, and then James Stevenson rounds out our top 30 for our C's today.
And it was a late attack from the man, Eggert, for Alpecin Watt Fabric, and making a little bit of a kick with that arrow power up with about 500 meters to go. Was not able to hold on to this as there was a charging Rhino named Sloan trying to get the win. The Zwift Crush and Dandies were also there with Turner, ZCD, Kronberg. Sleva left it a little bit late from not too serious, not too shabby. Sleva usually the winner of a lot of these, but Gordon Sloan had something else to say about it with that arrow power up out there today. There comes Sleva at 10 watts per kilogram. NTS, you can see there behind Dave. He's coming on quickly here, but Sloan just too much speed at 57, 56 kilometers per hour.
Yeah, even had time to post it up, sitting up there as they sweep up those podium spots right behind the Rhino, but that was job well done.
Well, let's see if we can bring in some results here from the D category, and where did T Diddy come from? What?
Uh-oh.
Suddenly T Diddy appears at 460 watts. What? Who is this guy?
I think we can throw that out as a D level performance. Well, I don't know.
2.7 watts per kilogram. This guy,
it's actually not that different than multiple other guys in the top 10.
Did they just let him go? I don't know. Tiddity's been around for a while, so we'll have to.
No reason to throw shade on that then. That's going to be T. Diddy there for the win. Gordon Sloan second, Alistair van der Vlies in third, Peter Sliva in fourth, Detlef Rimkes fifth, Pepe Higon in sixth, Bart Loof in seventh, Hannes in eighth, Dan Kronborg for ninth today, and then Ben Turner rounding out our top 10 for the Ds.
What's interesting is that Ty Diddy doesn't show up though on he does not show up.
He was a minute something ahead.
Just so everybody so right. Maybe we might be getting. We picked up on it a little bit that anyways that this is Ty Diddy, okay, but move on to Paul W. here. We'll have to wait and see. I'm going to see if we can get some information on the rider. Maybe, just so you know, everybody, as we pay more attention, do ping us. Like if there's something that you're like, well, this whatever might not be, we might be able to then remove from our databases on our end specific IDs that might be trying to troll, just so you know. I'm not sure that Ty Diddy is trying to do that, but he's not on ZwiftPower, so it doesn't really matter.
All right, in 11th, it's Paul W. Frank Eggert, Alpecin rider, the late attacker there, holds on for 12th. Matthew Guerra there in 13th. Ross Davidson 14th. Christian Ziva ends up with 15th. Hans Bjorling 16th today in our Ds. Not So Slim in 17th. Joris Israel 18th. Adrian Millar in 19th. Then finding the top 20 is Brian Pickering, but we promised the top 30. And voila. There it is. Steve Snarry in 21st, Seb Giron in 22nd, Tom for 23rd, Sindre Mattsson in 24th, Matthias Hermans in 25th. 26th today for the Ds was Elko Allegra. 27th, Aaron Smith. 28th, Dylan Scott. Massimiliano Firmani in 29th, and then Barry Grant Duncan. It's going to round out our top 30, and that's going to end it for our results and coverage of all the racing today from Richmond. The roller coaster lived up to it. Exciting.
This was the standings coming in. I was really hoping that we could take a look at this at the start, but we got chatting too much at the start of this. But just so everybody knows, we will be bringing these in as much as we can. Brandon, I think, may be overtaken in the next 24 hours. We'll make sure to give you guys an update on that. I do want to give a shout out to the ladies as well that are showing up across this. It does look like there are some good results coming in. They haven't got more than one out there so far, but we do have some ladies out there racing as well. So keep showing up. That's the A category current standings at 30:14 being the fastest time. We'll be looking forward to next week and how these GC standings. I do know, Dave, that some of these riders, as you saw with Teppo there, are showing up specifically to chase the GC overall. Some new viewers might be like, wait, what? What's going on with the GC? I know we explained it a little bit earlier, but again, maybe we just give a refresh so everybody gets out and doing their Z racing if they want to get involved.
Yeah, all right. So you want me to explain it again?
Yeah, that was all. Yeah, I was just saying, yeah, just
Yeah, so I mean, it's a GC, a classification. Each week there's a different race. You can race it as many times as you'd like, looking to get your best time. Typically on Mondays, we've been seeing really fast times. The broadcast helps and the motivation definitely, but this might not be the fastest race, and some of these riders might come back and do this stage again. So and next week we'll reset. It typically has been 5 stages per month, and I believe it's in February, it's probably 4 stages that we have this month, being a slightly shorter month. But after the 4 different events, the lowest amount of accumulated time will be our winner. But there's no bonuses along the way, so it really comes down to choosing the fastest group.
Yeah, and what's interesting is it's kind of like a modified chase race a little bit. If people are really paying attention to it, it's a little bit like, but you're chasing other times from other stages that have gone on throughout the week. It's a lot of fun. Get your buddies together, see how fast you can go. You saw the times out there today. Head on over to ZwiftPower.com to check out the Race Like a Champ League, as it is listed over there. It's hashtagged at the top of the league standings, actually. We'll be back at you tomorrow, though, everybody. Next up on Zwift Community Live, Zwift Racing League race number 4 in round number 3 in this February of 2024. Excited for that. If you haven't checked out Canadian National Championships, yesterday was some of the best racing we have ever seen. I don't think I've gotten more hyped on a stream, Dave. I mean, that was some good stuff. And I like, what did you say? You said maple syrup or maple leaf dreams. There was a great quote from you in some of the commentary that I couldn't get over. Some of the great commentary that you brought actually for the Canadians. It was so good, Dave.
Oh, thanks. It was, to be fair, both of the national championships were absolutely amazing experiences, weren't there? Because when Gabby and Kristen had that race in the U.S. Nationals for women, that might have actually not even been the national championship. That was one of the lead-in races. It was a lead-in races.
Yeah.
With Project. We've seen the best racing this season on Zwift Community Live. I mean, you're right. I'm not going to disagree, Nathan. Yesterday was special. There's no question. And the men's race, that was
something extra special. I got to say,
if you go back and watch that, which I did, and I'm sure you did too, there were really 5 different times that we thought that race had been won.
Yep.
Yeah. And it speaks to, I don't mind being wrong because it's so exciting. You're in that moment with that intensity, and you kind of each knew, like when Warren Meir comes over the top or JP Leclerc, how can you not be cheering for these athletes? Because you're cheering for the essence of sport. Risk taking, the potential reward, but also the devastation of heartbreak. And truly, that's when esports for me is working like a Swiss clock. It's just perfect to see. There were no complaints. Everybody's dual verified. It's on the up and up. And when it's over, there's a real sense of satisfaction, isn't there? I mean, from the broadcast perspective, from the a couple weeks ago kind of opened my eyes, Nathan, when you're talking about, you need to pull that lever and every now and then have it come up all cherries, right? And that's what happened 3 or 4 times during that broadcast.
Exactly.
Right.
The risk reward, that's esports. What we saw there yesterday, and setting those up in the right ways so that you can get that controls over it too. It was really cool to see the racers show up and put that on.
I'd like to add one more thing too, because people might not recognize how much you do behind the scenes to, and the storytelling of having the cams with the athletes set up so that it's a good solid look at who they are, and a little bit of, you can peel back the onion and see maybe a couple tidbits or Easter eggs in their life, like the snowshoes hanging up behind the junior rider, right?
Clovis,
it was such a classic Canadian moment, right?
That was really great.
But those moments don't happen unless there's hours of pre-production and getting that set up with the camera and the athlete and doing the sound check. And I had multiple comments from folks talking about the women's race afterward, about where every one of those 6 women in that final group had a chance to hear their story being told a little bit, the best that we could. And we'll learn more about them. But whether it was learning that Tiffany Penner is a PhD microbiologist, you might think, well, what does that have to do with the racing? Well, it absolutely matters, because that's who the person is. And you have to really look at what's happening from Tiffany Penner's perspective in that race. And here she is up there in Manitoba, Canada, doing her damnedest to try to win this eSport National Championship. And it's inspiring. It's really inspiring.
And it was really good to see all the younger athletes to come out from the Canadian Nationals too. That was, a lot of times we get this idea that, there's, it's a veteran. It even was said, like, I'm going to have to come back with Anna this week on the podcast and be like, yeah, there is the reality that up front Zwifting was a lot of mammals maybe in their garages, because that's who could afford it. It's who was going to maybe be really set up for it. But there's a growing junior U17. There's a growing youth, I think, in this space. And as cycling grows, there's a lot of accessibility to get really strong. And you see the committed athletes who are showing up, the younger athletes in the men's race as well, that were taking it to the veterans. I mean, that was so good to see there as well. So good job on Canada, I got to say, again, on getting their people involved and having such a vibrant cycling community that would show up for virtual racing. Really, really cool to see.
Okay, one more thing to dovetail onto that, Nathan. We're at a time now in the cycling industry where there's a ton of new trainers that are coming out and really cool next level products. Perfect time to take your old Wahoo kicker from 2017 and donate that to a junior rider. Because going back to your point, it was $1,200 to buy those trainers 5-6 years ago, and not many 16-year-olds can afford to spend $1,200 on a piece of technology. They have many other laptops and things that they need. So now maybe the second wave of equipment we can see being donated, maybe sending some trainers to Africa and sending some trainers over to junior riders and getting people on free trainers to get them onto esports. I think it's a good idea.
Love that shout out. Find a junior in your community. Find a Nike team if you're in the USA who's looking to train right now to get ready for their season. And it'd be really cool.
Give them the old trainer.
Cool. Yeah, for sure.
You don't need to sell it. You can afford to be generous every now and then, right? And it's a great
Dave's
time.
calling you out. Oh, man. Dave's calling you out. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow. We're going to be live 11:30 Central Time. Zwift Racing League. Scratch racing, right? It's not sprints.
Yeah, it is.
for
There's
scratch
no
racing.
points.
Yeah.
It's just
No
racing to the
points.
finish line.
All right.
Yep.
So we'll see you tomorrow for that. We're going to be live all day tomorrow. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Make sure to hit those likes, follows, comment, subscribe, do all that great stuff. You can reach out to us as well over at ZwiftCommunityLive.com. And we absolutely love to hear from you. Thanks everybody for tuning in.
Send me your trainers.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. Right on. Send me your trainers. Oh man. Durango Devo. Okay.